Hello everyone! So the book's World Emergency, Save Humanity, go for the healing miracle of the optimal vegan diet and stop the crime against humanity. A vital truth is being deliberately hidden from you and the public. What are the consequences of this hidden truth on you and your entourage? There is a consensus of the top world experts on nutrition and health that the whole foods, low-fat, plant-based diet, where raw food is given half the place, that it's the optimal diet for humans. It is also called a vegan diet. Dr. John McDougall writes about it in his book, The Healthiest Diet on the Planet. Dr. Michael Greger wrote, How Not to Die. It's about how we can help prevent, stop, and reverse our top 15 killers with a vegan diet. Dr. Michael Greger also wrote How Not to Diet. He explains that it is a matter of life and death, and that we cannot wait until society catches up with the science. Dr. Neil Barnard, president of the Physicians' Committee for Responsible Medicine, says that 7 out of 10 deaths in the USA can be prevented by a vegan diet. He says that if the whole world goes vegan, 8 million people will be saved every year in the world. Excuse me. Dr. Dean Ornish says that the vegan diet is a fountain of youth, that it provides longevity, like Dan Bretner of National Geographic. He says that people who in the blue zones who live the longest on Earth, their common point is that they have a predominantly plant-based diet. Another example is Frances Greger, the grandmother of Dr. Michael Greger. She was diagnosed with heart disease when she was 65, so she was wheeled in a hospital, and thanks to the lifestyle medicine pioneer Nathan Pritikin, she walked out of the hospital and she went on to live another 30 years on a vegan diet. So Mr. Nathan Pritikin was an engineer. He reversed his heart disease and went on to help millions of people. So it's true that the top world experts in nutrition and health I am speaking about, they have influenced and reached millions of people already. So Dr. T. Colin Campbell, author of the China study, it's the most extended study, a 40-year study on the relationship between health and nutrition. He says that in the long term, consuming animal products, fish, meat, cause cardiovascular disease, cancer, and other serious diseases. He says that even a small portion of animal products, fish, meat, is not good for us. Dr. Tanta Mango Bartley did a study on 69,120 people, and she found that vegans had the least incidence of cancer. Doctors say that a vast majority of our diseases can be healed by a vegan diet. So if you don't know this truth about the optimal vegan diet, your risk of dying of cancer, diseases like linked with high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, obesity, etc., these risks are much higher. You know, we all have a mission. It is to help save humanity. Go for the healing, optimal vegan diet. Experience the miracles it works in our life, and stop the crime against humanity. Let me explain to you why. The World Watch Institute says that 18 to 50% of the greenhouse gas emissions are caused by animal agriculture. You know, for example, cows are bulking methane, which is this greenhouse gas is more dangerous than CO2. So, experts say that by 2100, the Earth risks a rise in temperature of 5 to 7 degrees Celsius or 41 to 44 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be a catastrophe for future generations. It would contribute to the 6th mass extinction of species, including humanity. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says that at this point, if we don't change our lifestyle, the climate change could be irreversible. So by going vegan, you help lower the greenhouse gas emissions, you help save humanity and other living beings in the long term. What about the international crime against humanity? About 8,814 people have been killed to stop this message from being revealed to the public. I was blackmailed into stopping my activism and my investigations, otherwise the anti-vegan group would kill people and show me the news of their deaths via the media, along with codes linked with my activism so that I understand the message. These books, Volume 1 and 2, demonstrate these statements. They are the result and the summary of 6 years of investigations of activists, the equivalent of more than 12 books, or 2,677 pages. So the network, the anti-vegan group did kill people in several countries every time I made progress with my activism and the publication of these books to warn the world population. We need your support to help stop this crime against humanity. The network of criminals has to be stopped. The 2,000 babies who were given microencephaly, linked with the Zika virus, have a relationship with this international case. I demonstrate this in the books. Famous people, vegan activists, documentary makers, directors and editors, authors, journalists, vegan chefs, CEOs of plant-based food and drink companies and news, sages, doctors of the vegetarian, vegan and freedom movement were given death threats by the network to silence them. Most of these threats were given via me. Sometimes they were given directly, but it was exceptional. So these are worth much more than $1.1 million in compensation for the damages and interests. There were a lot of fake news. So the number of victims who were killed or injured has to be relativized. It is one of the greatest scandals of this century. So these books are a warning that there is a world emergency. People have to massively go vegan, according to experts like the SciY, the Stockholm International Water Institute, who says that by 2050, within 30 years, the world also has to go vegetarian because of a global lack of water. Today, 4 billion people already suffer from a lack of water of 1 month per year. What is more, the optimal vegan diet works miracles for people. Doctors see their patients heal from their terminal cancer on a predominantly plant-based diet. Doctors see the diabetes of their patients go away. They see their patients lose more than 200 pounds and keep the weight off on a vegan diet. Doctors see their patients reverse their heart disease. I am talking about doctors like Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, Dr. Neil Barnard, Dr. Kelly Turner, Dr. Michael Greger, Dr. Joel Kahn. These doctors talk about witnessing the miracles of the vegan diet on the patients on a daily basis. So Dr. Joel Kahn wrote The Plant-Based Solution, and Dr. Kelly Turner wrote Radical Remission of Terminal Cancer. So yet the vegetarian, vegan and freedom movement, who is promoting the vegan diet, is also being assaulted. A serial murder of vegetarian or vegan megastars has also been going on to prevent them from converting their fans, their millions of fans, to the vegetarian or vegan lifestyle, and also to prevent them from supporting the preventive and efficient medicine of the Physicians' Committee for Responsible Medicine, which was founded by Dr. Neil Barnard in 1985. So it is part of the international crime against humanity. We are confronted with an international case on the urgency of vegetarianism and veganism for the people and the planet. We need a vegan world revolution. The R of revolution is in brackets because it is our natural evolution to be herbivores, frugivores, or vegans according to naturalists. So we're natural vegans. It's more a vegan world evolution than a vegan world revolution. So 2 disclaimers. All the allegations and accusations against any people made in these books have to be proven right by an honest international criminal court. Secondly, please do not look to this presentation for medical advice. I am a peace activist and not a medical doctor. So, why are you doing this? What will your future self be on a vegan diet? There are 17 golden reasons to be a vegetarian and better a vegan. So the first reason is a perfect health. Second reason, you can stop the unfair slaughter of 60 billion animals per year in the world, of 500 billion sea animals. You can also stop the unfair slaughter of calves in the milk industry. Most of them are sent to the slaughterhouse not long after birth, so that the milk which should be theirs be given to humans who don't need it, because no species need the milk of another species once they are weaned. You can also stop the unfair slaughter of male chicks in the egg industry who are ground after birth because they will not become hens that lay eggs. So, third reason, you respect the law that forbids the torture of animals. Number 4, you follow the way of the vegetarian or vegan sages and philosophers, and you follow the way of our ancestors, the first humans who were vegetarians. Number 5, you help protect the environment. It is a world emergency. You prevent the 6th mass extinction of species, including humanity. 70% of the food-related greenhouse gas could be avoided if the whole world goes vegan, according to Dr. Neil Barnard. So you prevent the ocean dead zones, deforestation, sea level rising, the worsening of natural catastrophes everywhere caused by global warming. Droughts are worse, rains, tempests, hurricanes, fires. So I read in an article of a French newspaper that 4 billion people were concerned by the consequences of global warming. Sea level rising, migration, lack of water, etc. 6th golden reason. You fight against the imbalance between northern and southern countries. In some developing countries, the grains are sent to feed the animals who will be slaughtered for people of the western countries to consume, whereas there is hunger in those developing countries. The grains could feed the local populations directly. So there is an injustice going on here. Number 7, you save natural resources. You need about 9 times more cereals to produce 1 pound of meat than to produce 1 pound of vegetal proteins, and 15 times more water. We should consume the vegetal proteins directly. So you help avoid famine, poverty, lack of harvests of crops, lack of water caused by global warming. Countries under the equator, for example, have their rivers that are drying up because of global warming. So you help avoid wars in countries today and in the future. For example, one of the causes of the war in Rwanda and Syria was the lack of harvests of crops due to drought and global warming. Number 8, you get better physical performances. See Game Changers, the documentary, and the study of Professor Fisher of Yale University. Number 9, you save money. Number 10, you eat delicious vegan food. Number 11, you have an exquisite beauty. Number 12, you have a great intellectual force. Number 13, you have a pacified mind and emotional balance. Number 14, it's a geographical reason. The diseases called diseases of our civilization are located in countries who most consume meat and animal products. Number 15, you respect our nature of herbivores, frugivores, according to naturalists. So you have to see the article of the IVU, International Vegetarian Union. Our teeth and intestines are very similar to those of primates and not to those of carnivores. Number 16, you have a higher level of conscience and spirituality, according to Dexter Scott King, the son of Reverend Martin Luther King. Number 17, Our creativity is boosted on a vegan diet like that of vegetarian or vegan Spanish architect Gaudi, who created wonderful, natural, colorful buildings. You can check them out. So you can help create a more fraternal, fair, wealthy, and peaceful world too. See the book of Dr. Will Tuttle, The World Peace Diet. The World Peace Diet. So to get this mission of helping to save humanity accomplished, you have to consult a doctor or a nutritionist who will help you go vegan. The basic principle is the power plate of the Physicians' Committee for Responsible Medicine. You have to eat 4 groups of food: whole grains, legumes like lentils, peas, fruits, and vegetables. You add 30 grams of nuts a day. You have to have vitamin B12, vitamin D, so you have to consult a doctor. You can get the Vegan Starter Kit by Dr. Neil Barnard. It's very affordable. Or you can do the free 21-day vegan kickstart of the Physicians' Committee for Responsible Medicine. You can get a vegan cookbook or find free online recipes, free vegan recipes online. It's easy to veganize the traditional recipes. You should surround yourself with a vegetarian and vegan supportive community. So we know it's not easy to go vegan in a society that promotes and follows the omnivore diet. But once you decide to make the leap, you will be supported by the vegetarian and vegan community. For example, you might wonder, how do I get my proteins? Well, doctors say that proteins are made up of amino acids. Vegetal proteins in plants are complete. They have all the amino acids of proteins. For example, a man and a woman from 30 to 59 years old need 46 grams of proteins per day. Rice and wheat have 8 or 11 grams of proteins per 100 grams. 100 grams is about 3.5 ounces. I'm sorry, I have to use grams for my demonstration. Soy or lentils have 38 and 23 grams of proteins per 100 grams. That's a little more than than the proteins contained in beef, chicken, pork, and fish. So this explains why we should eat cereals and legumes when we follow a vegan diet. For example, if you eat 100 grams of cereals or rice and 100 grams of soy or tofu, you get the 46 grams of proteins you need that day. I mean, when you're 30 to 59. So you may also wonder, where do I get my calcium? Well, doctors say that cows don't make calcium. The calcium is in the grass or other foods they eat. For us, it is in the green leafy vegetables or foods like broccolis, figs, dates, almonds, and other foods. So what's the miracle of the vegan diet for you? You will reach your optimal health with the vegan lifestyle combined with exercise and spirituality. You will feel the strongest you have ever been. See the example of Rich Roll He's a vegan ultra-marathoner and a lawyer. You will feel and look much younger and beautiful. Your intelligence will reach its peak. You will be calm and feel the happiest. You will be more conscious and spiritual. You will be able to provide greater health for yourself, your family, society, and the world. You will make a primordial move toward becoming the best version of yourself. To sum up, you have new extraordinary benefits in your life after you go vegan. So even if these books give you the bad news of a crime against humanity and the global treachery to keep the public ignorant of the truth of the optimal vegan diet, the good news is that you can do something about it. You have the power to change your life for the better and live a long and happy life. You have the power to give a sustainable future for your grandchildren and the next generations. Who am I? What gives me the authority to write these books? I am the CEO of a training center that teaches English. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's level in English. I studied philosophy for a year at university. I have passed a competitive examination to enter several colleges of engineering, including a general one specialized in robotics, one in materials science, and the last one in the genius of industrial systems and innovation. I was the first successor to Miss Vietnam at a beauty pageant in France in 1993. I have been a peace, human rights, vegetarianism, veganism, environmental activist since 2013. I've been a volunteer investigator since then. I was raised on a Vietnamese diet which is low in meat. I have been 14 years a vegetarian and on a predominantly plant-based diet. I now have a vegan diet. I'm 42 years old. When I went back to vegetarianism in my 30s, because previously I had been badly informed, my diet was not well balanced. So when I went back to vegetarianism, I felt 10 years younger, and when I decided to be more vegan, I felt another 10 years younger, so that's a total of 20 years younger. So I think, I feel, and I look like it. And Mimi Kirk, she's more than 70 years old, and she's a vegetarian or vegan, and she says she feels like she's 20. Okay, so right. I am a French citizen. My family is from Vietnam, which is a former French colony. My grandmother was a vegetarian Buddhist nun who helped a lot of people. I was born in the context of the Vietnam War. I have seen what the war looks like, which is why I want no wars for anyone, be they animals or humans. Okay, I have a challenge for you. If you want to find the answer to this question, what's the common point between these celebrities? The father of cybernetics, Norbert Wiener. The father of mass communication and the light bulb, Thomas Edison. The father of modern mechanics, Isaac Newton. The father of the motor of smartphones, Nikola Tesla. The father of the motor of the hard drive of computers, Nobel Prize winner Mr. Raman. Mahatma Gandhi, Reverend Martin Luther King, Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, Rosa Parks called the mother of freedom. I can give you a hint. Were these people vegetarians or vegans? Yes, they were. Their contribution is impressive. We all benefit from what they have helped create. Robots, machines, cars, electricity of light bulbs, mass communications, computers, smartphones, a world that is more free. It is remarkable that all these achievements were done to a great extent thanks to the vegetarian and vegan diet, which illustrates the fact that these diets boost our creativity and help create a wealthier world and a world that is more fair. Besides, each one of us has the responsibility of the destiny of humanity, according to the Lakota Native Americans. Albert Einstein, who was a vegetarian, said, "Nothing will better increase the chance of survival of life on Earth and be more beneficial to human health than the evolution toward a vegetarian diet." He said that if the whole world goes vegetarian, it will change the destiny of humanity. There is a quote that says that intelligent people solve problems, but geniuses prevent them. I think we should listen to Albert Einstein and prevent the sixth mass extinction of species, including humanity. And we also have to choose the vegan diet according to doctors. It's even better than the vegetarian diet. So the challenge for the world is, how will we feed 9 billion people in 2050? Well, among the solutions are that we have to go vegan because it's the best way to share natural resources. Herbert Rees, astrophysicist, says that if the whole world ate a Western diet, we would need 3 planets. We also should not participate in overpopulation. The other solutions are to participate in topsoil replenishment via organic farming or, experts say we have only 60 more years of arable lands left. So we can grow our own food or do composting, etc. So these are some solutions to feed 9 billion people in 2050. So back to the books. The books are a memoir. They are an exclusive, rare investigation, originally written for the judges who could take care of this case, the local public prosecutors, the European Court of Human Rights, the International Criminal Court, the United Nations Commission for Human Rights. It is the result of the collective work of the vegetarian, vegan, and freedom movement. These books were written for all people of the world, interested in better understanding our world and refusing to believe in the conventional and imposed narrative. These books will tell you who this network of criminals is, what field they work in, the extent of their influence and actions. It's a sprawling international organization. You will know about the modus operandi they use. For example, they cover up their crimes with accidents, with fake suicides, with mob attacks. They use drug overdoses. They can force their victims to take drugs, to drink alcohol or take prescription medicines and then accuse them of having done that themselves, which is an alibi for the network. They know everything about the life of their victims because they spied on them. They will use their life, their drawbacks, exaggerate the truths, kill their victims, and have an alibi for themselves. You will know about their use of the media, of fake news, of pseudo-terrorism to cover up their criminal activities. I will tell you about the vegetarian, vegan, and freedom movement. I will tell you what my activism has been and the retaliations of the network. I will give you concrete proofs of the existence of this network. I will show you their codes, the license plates they used, their hidden messages of which I cracked the codes in official documents. I will show you how the behavior of accomplices prove the existence of the network. I will explain the vegan bashing, which is fake news, to accuse vegans of offenses and even crimes, whereas according to scientists or doctors like Dr. Rodolphe Valentine or Dr. Candace Pert, a neuroscientist, vegans are, according to these experts, vegans are peaceful and have a friendly nature, compared to omnivores who ingest the hormones, neurons, chemicals of animals who were slaughtered and who felt fear and pain. These hormones, neurons, chemicals are responsible for the aggressiveness in humans when they eat animals. Anthropologists say that wars started in Europe when humans began to keep animals to eat them. Professional observation of prison guards in the highest security prison of Alabama showed that inmates who were given a vegetarian or a vegan diet had less behavioral problems. So that's according to Ingrid Newkirk, co-founder of PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I will give you advice to survive the attacks of the network as potential designated collateral victims or as vegan activists. Anybody in the world can become a designated collateral victim. It's a one-way international secret war. The main rule is to beware of anyone, any professional, anything, anywhere, anytime. For example, they will use locksmiths. They can have access to your house, to the room of the hotel you're at. They use food poisoning. Your communications can be spied on. They will use traffic transport accidents. A car can hit yours. They will use indirect methods, false robberies, for example, that can lead you to even more dangerous places when you try to take back your belongings. They use explosions. Bridges can fall. They can lure you with employment contracts to crime scenes. They use fake identities. Your neighbors can be accomplices. They can hack your computer. They can put false documents on it and pretend they're yours. They can hack your email inbox, usurp your identity, sign emails instead of you. They can use false deranged fans against stars. It's the smoke screen and mirrors of the network. They can use false accusations, then can accuse people of false offenses and crimes. They act like narcissistic perverts, and they can accuse their victims of their own faults and crimes. They use mass shootings, arsons, ram raids, They boasted that they had 70 ways to kill people, and I did find in the files I gathered more than 80 attacks against people. So they infiltrate movements to better control them. Even your spouse can be an accomplice. I mean, the spouse kills the person they live with, and then nobody suspects the spouse. I will show you the harassment that the network did against people, sages, celebrities of the vegetarian, vegan, and freedom movement, harassment against the world and the activist that I am. I will show you the attacks that the network perpetrated on living beings, nature, animals. I mean, people were killed. So people in the vegetarian, vegan, and freedom movement, the doctors, people like children, babies, teenagers, the general population. I will explain to you the serial murder of vegetarian or vegan stars, like I said, to prevent them from converting their millions of fans to their vegetarian or vegan lifestyle, or supporting the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. For example, vegetarian or vegan Kurt Cobain. He had said in Newsweek that he was releasing autobiographical elements in which he said he was a vegetarian. Vegan Cory Monteith had 4 million viewers with glee. Vegan Prince was also releasing an autobiography which never came out. Vegan Michael Jackson was the most successful male singer at the time of his murder. Vegetarian or vegan Whitney Houston and her daughter Bobby Christina Brown, who was killed to prevent her from continuing the vegetarian or vegan legacy of her mother. You will know who the other stars are. I will tell you about the attacks against my family. I mean, one person died in my family. The network has also sabotaged my work, my job research. The network owes me at least $3 million in compensation for the death threats alone. More than 373 accomplices of the network have stalked and harassed me until today. The harassment does not work. I know that they want to suppress this message and stop the publication of these books. So at first, the network of criminals also used indirect messages by leaving objects on the ground to harass me. There were also ads or newspapers with specific messages of harassment. I wondered if these were not just coincidences, but they started to accumulate in great numbers. One day, I became sure that the network existed. It was the day that followed the date I had watched the beginning of the film about the Shoah via the internet provider I paid. A Jewish mother and her daughter had been separated in a concentration camp. On the ground in front of the next day on the ground in front of my door, the network deposited 2 stars of David made with one single thread of a garbage bag to give my daughter and me a death threat as if we were in a concentration camp. Now, the stars were very precisely made, which makes it an impossible coincidence. I had my first evidence that the network really existed. Then I survived more than 85 murder attempts over 6 years. I explain how I escaped in the books. It was not easy. I forgot to mention that there were also American athletes who died in suspicious accidents, and I think it's a retaliation against the American athletes who are going more and more going vegan and telling about it in the media. So this message is valuable because I was not supposed to be here speaking to you about this. So I've been stalked, harassed, given death threats every day for several years by the anti-vegan group to stop the publication of these books. My family and my entourage also received death threats that were shown to me only. So, therefore, for all these reasons, please take time to learn about the rest of this valuable message that I have to give you. We need your help to stop the international crime against humanity. And congratulations! Now you know the truth, that the network has been trying to suppress so that it never reaches you, to protect their economic interests. And as doctors say, please go vegan for your health, for the world, for the animals and the environment. Help save humanity and so many animals and plant species. Please also share this vital message. It will not be shared by traditional media. And take the Veggie Challenge. In video 2, I will tell you more about a distinctive feature that I have, which explains my positioning and why my voice should be heard and taken into account, and why this message has an utmost importance in your life. Thank you very much. Goodbye.